This is my first video on this channel, and I want this channel to be it's going to be hard to do, but I want it to be based on facts, and I want my opinions to be based around the facts, and the opinions that you hear on this channel I'm really going to try and base around facts and not just put my own feelings in there, because when it comes to Sebastian Rogers, I'm invested emotionally, and I don't want. I'm going to try my hardest to not let my personal feelings about this come into play. So for this video, for my first video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch. What's this dude's name, man? What's his name? JLR Investigates. It's going to be in the title of the video, and it's going to be in the thumbnail as well, so you'll get it before you get to this point in my video. But I've heard of him here and there. Never watched him really. I've heard a lot about him. Like, I don't think a lot of other creators agree with a lot of stuff that he says about things. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch him, and I'm going to have an opinion on him. I'm going to share my opinion on JLR Investigates, because the video that we're about to watch, I've watched a few minutes of it, and while watching it, because I clicked on him today and I thought I'll watch his video, right, on Sebastian, and a few minutes in and I'm like, you know, we'll watch the video, we'll get into it, and I'll express my opinions about this guy and the way that he speaks.
Good morning.
Morning.
JLR Investigates. Come on in, everyone. Let's have a conversation. New update.
9 o'clock at night, and I'm drinking a cup of coffee.
Sebastian Rogers case, plus the father has been speaking. The stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot. Let me fix this up a little bit. I am traveling en route this morning, and as we've been covering the Sebastian Rogers case every single morning on JLR Investigates,
towards where Sebastian
do a live, and then we share what's the latest, what's being heard. So get yourself a great cup of coffee. I went to a store this morning called Stripes. I am in Central Texas. I am in an area called Azona, which is pretty much in the middle of nowhere in Western Texas. Rugged land. But Sebastian Rogers, the TBI, has given out a new statement last night, ladies and gentlemen. And this statement is interesting, folks. Come on in. Come on in. Let's talk. Let's talk about 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. We're keeping his face out there. The
you are keeping his face out there, just like everybody else.
The mystery deepens on what happened to Sebastian, right? Where is he? Who's involved? A child just does not vanish. Someone knows something.
Children go missing all the time. Children, as sad as it is, do just vanish sometimes. It happens.
Knows something out there, and you know, the TBI is claiming they're working around the clock. They're claiming they did this, that, and the other. So we're going to listen to their statement that the TBI gave. We're going to read their statement. On February 26, 2024, 15-year-old Sebastian disappeared from his Sumner County home, leading to a large-scale ground search that resulted in first responders covering about 2,000 total miles in effort to find him. And that's interesting, folks.
I'm pretty sure they have the National Guard out as well.
Miles. Now, is that square miles or is that miles? That's a lot. But, folks, I told you on JLR Investigates just the other day, maybe even yesterday, that it was confirmed to me that authorities were looking into the stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot,
it was confirmed to him.
New Mexico. So
to him, nobody else.
Makes me feel like, hey, they went all the way to New Mexico. Because between Memphis and Tennessee, or the state of Tennessee, it's much more than 2,000 miles. Do you agree? They should track everything.
I feel like he's twisting things.
Hearing what I'm hearing now, let me just stay on JLR Investigates.
To support his narrative that he wants to push.
Information about Christopher and his ties to Virginia and different things he's done in Virginia. You see, we know a lot on JLR Investigates. We do get the goods. We figure things out. We watch from afar, we watch from above, and we look down and see what
You've
the
got
world
eyes
is going
everywhere.
on and what
You've got eyes
authorities are
everywhere.
doing and who's saying what, and listening for people to come out of the woodwork.
You've got eyes
People
everywhere.
are coming out of the woodwork. Christopher Proudfoot also, after the statement was released by the TBI, coincidentally starts chattering it up.
Why is that suspicious?
On, Facebook, which is...
The guy is under a lot of pressure. The family is under a lot of pressure, right? Obviously. This kid's gone missing. He's been missing for a long time. And the family's under pressure. And whether he's done the right thing by talking to people online and answering questions, I don't know. But they're under pressure. And, you know, when you're constantly getting barraged by people like you trying to further their own narrative when it comes to a missing boy, sometimes you feel like you can't do anything else other than answer the questions because it's constant. It's a constant onslaught of people online driven by people like this guy. So when that's constantly at you, right, you're dealing with your son and your stepson going missing. Now, the step thing, I don't know if it comes into play because, like it looks like this guy really loves Sebastian. So I don't think the step part of the father title means anything really. This boy might as well have two dads and one mum. But just because he's answering some questions, it's suspicious. Maybe it's got to a point where he just feels overwhelmed and he thinks that if he answers some questions, that the people may slow down or even stop answering questions. It won't. It never does online. And that's because these people are driven by people like you, JLR. I don't mean to get involved in any drama, but it's true. I wouldn't have normally made this type of video, but I watched this guy and I got angry because it's obvious he's trying to spin things and maybe in a way make things up to support his own narrative that the parents have done something. And you'll see what I mean. There's no evidence out there that the parents have done anything. You'll see what I mean as we go on.
Which is very interesting. So they went 2,000 total miles in an effort to find him, but he's not found. Sebastian is not found. We continue to work with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and the FBI to both proactively pursue information that may be relevant to the search for Sebastian. So, FBI is involved.
Yeah.
FBI is involved in this case. They also say Secret Service is involved in this case, which is interesting.
Why is it interesting?
Secret Service is involved.
Why is it interesting? You know why the Secret Service is involved, you douche. Right? I'm sorry. You know why the Secret Service is involved. They've got the technology way beyond the TBI. The FBI have got resources that the TBI don't have. Plus, it's a 15-year-old autistic boy that's gone missing. An amber alert has been issued. I'm pretty sure that's within the jurisdiction of the FBI as well. And normally, when it comes to something like this and need that help really quick, they'll call in other resources, the FBI. They called in at some point the National Guard for boots on the ground to go out and do a search. The Secret Service has got better tech, a better software to figure things out and sort things out, and it's probably got something to do with footage that they've received from sources, right? You know why the Secret Service is involved in this case. You know why the FBI is involved in this case, my guy. But you're trying your hardest to spin this into a narrative, into your narrative, that it's all suspicious. It's all, conspiracy. And you don't say this word, but it's obviously that's what you are trying to do. You're trying to spin it in a way that furthers the narrative that the parents or step-parent might have done something, when there's absolutely zero proof or indication at all that anything like that has gone on. But you, because you've received this information, you've got sources everywhere, you've got eyes everywhere, up above and everywhere. You've received information, so obviously it's true, eh? You're going to use the excuse that you can't give up your sources, right? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this dude is BSing, and the information that he's probably received is people, the public, his viewers, going into his chats, commenting on his videos, sending him emails, tweeting at him, whatever he does his social media, and getting in contact with him and saying, oh, what about this? What if we've done this? What if something's going on here? Blah, 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 blah. And he's just taking all that as fact. That there is sources. They are his sources his little viewers commenting on his video, saying this, saying that, what if this, what if that, oh, I think the dad's done something. And he's taking that and just running with it. You're not bothered about Sebastian. You're not bothered about Sebastian and his whereabouts and his well-being. You're bothered about the views and steering the narrative. Steering the narrative. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong and somebody actually took notice of you? Right? Somebody in law enforcement thought, oh, well, this guy's talking sense. But you're wrong. And you steer because you've got zero evidence and zero indication that you are right. Nothing. You've got zero indication or evidence, nothing that what you think and the narrative that you claim is going on here and what's happened here is right. You've got no evidence to support that. No evidence. You've got no sources. Nothing. You're in it for the entertainment value and the views. I'm angry. I need to calm down.
Secret Service would be involved. FBI. You know why I think the FBI might be involved? Because we're dealing with an investigation that goes over interstate lines, ladies and gentlemen.
Or maybe it's just got something to do with a child being missing and they've got resources that the TBI have not.
Is it out of state at all? Is any of this involved with behaviors of persons of interest, suspects, anyone?
You see what I mean by him trying to twist
out of
the narrative into what he wants it to be,
folks? We know that they searched a dumpster or landfill in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they went out of state.
Yeah, they went out of state.
This case.
They went out of state. Sorry, let me go full screen. They went out of state because that is where the rubbish from where Sebastian lives is dumped. There's nothing special or suspicious about it. The area that Sebastian Rogers lives in, their rubbish is dumped at that dump site. That's why they were checking there. You see what I mean by trying to twist the narrative? I shouldn't be getting angry and I shouldn't be letting this guy get me angry, but it is because he's trying to put blame where there's no evidence for there to be blame. And it could harm things. Somebody could take notice of this guy and run with what he's saying, right? I know the odds of that happening is low, but it could happen. People like this can make things extremely difficult because no doubt some people, not all of them, but some people that are watching him are actually phoning in tips, you know, and calling tip lines and emailing people and getting in contact with them and saying, what about this, what about that? Bothering the TBI with BS tips that have got no substance to them, but the TBI and the FBI and local law enforcement have to run with them and check every single little thing out. So you can be making things worse by doing that.
Sebastian's family has remained cooperative since the search began and have done whatever law enforcement has asked of them. That's an interesting statement too. Are the parents cooperating?
Yeah.
Or are the parents cooperating in the sense of only giving law enforcement what they ask the family? Is the family willing
that's
to give
cooperating.
Them more? Or are they just...
That's cooperating. I don't know why you try to spin that into something that it's not. Everything that law enforcement have asked of them, the family has done. So they are cooperating. How can they cooperate more than what law enforcement are asking? You see how he's trying to spin that into something suspicious and maybe bad? Do you see how he's trying to twist the narrative?
Just doing just the necessities, basically, is if law enforcement says, take a polygraph, take a polygraph. Law enforcement says, let me see your phone, let me see your phone.
What else are they supposed to do? They've done everything they've been asked for.
Anyone involved in this case, we're giving them more than they asked for. That remains to be seen. At this stage in the investigation, there are few clues to indicate what happened to Sebastian or where he might be. There is not proof at this time that there's any criminal element involved in this disappearance. But also, there is not any proof that there is not a criminal involvement.
Right.
That's interesting, right? So they lean it both ways.
Because
no
they
proof
don't
that
know.
there was criminal element.
They've got no evidence either way. So they have to say that whilst covering both bases because they've got no evidence either way. Why? Why are you reading more into that than there is to be read?
In order to preserve, here we go. Here's what case in point. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we cannot discuss many of the specifics surrounding the case. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, Summer Wells.
Yeah,
but we know how many people care.
You see what I mean? He's trying to twist it again. Except that's just natural behaviour when it comes to law enforcement and their active investigations. They're not going to give you any information beyond what they've given you already because they need to protect the integrity of the investigation. But he's trying to twist that. He's trying to make that into something it's not and make it all suspicious. You see his tone, you hear his tone of voice, his eyes, the way that he holds his face when he does this, and he's reading it from his phone. He's trying to twist the narrative. He's trying to control the narrative. You don't care about Sebastian. He doesn't care about Sebastian. He cares about controlling the narrative. The dude's a narcissist.
Also, we want to caution the public about putting too much stock into information being presented in various media forms. That is inaccurate or incomplete and could be damaging to the investigation. The same thing with Summer Wells. Remember when Ronnie Lawson and all them said, people on the internet's putting all this stuff that hurt the case.
Yeah, you.
Interesting.
Interesting. Can you not see it?
So they say.
I'm sorry. The public. Yeah, you can't see it because, you know why you can't see it, my guy? Because you're a narcissist. Narcissists don't see that type of stuff. Like, when you're reading that little bit there, they're also talking about people like you. You know, because you try to twist the narrative, you try to make it into something that is not, that it isn't. How are you reading that and not realizing that that's also you?
Sebastian's residence has been searched.
Yeah.
The yard, the house, the vehicles, all have been searched multiple times.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why? Why is it interesting? Just pause it there. It's normal investigative behaviour by law enforcement. When a child goes missing, especially a child, not just when a child goes missing, but when especially a child goes missing, who do they look at first? Who do they try and eliminate first? The family, especially the parents. It's just normal investigative behaviour by law enforcement. It's if this dude had kids or somebody in his care that went missing, he would be the first person that law enforcement checked out, and that's just normal behaviour by them. That's what they do.
And there's a case about a woman that files an affidavit in that case, Proudfoot versus Proudfoot in Sumner County, Tennessee. Look it up. It's a good understanding to find out the nature and characteristics of the individuals involved. I've always said that.
He's talking about
I still believe that prime suspect number 1 and 2, Katie Proudfoot and Christopher Proudfoot. I believe that they're suspects in my eyes.
Why?
Based on my analysis and based off the body language and behaviors of them.
You're
and
an
the way
expert at body language. Why? Because
what they did and did
poor
not
lass
do.
was shaky.
I would think all fingers point to Katie Proudfoot and Christopher Proudfoot. I say this in good faith. I say this because the case is unsolved and I have a Christopher Proudfoot not do. I would think all fingers, they're acting online and what they did and did not do. I would think all fingers point to Katie Proudfoot and Christopher Proudfoot. I say this in good faith. I say this because the case is unsolved and I have a right to have my opinion and share my opinion on social media with all of you. So
you do have the right to have an opinion and share your opinion on social media. Even if, like this one, even if your opinion is absolute BS, stupid and wrong, you're saying it in good faith. What faith? What faith have you garnered from everybody that's good? You've got zero evidence. You're not an expert. You're a keyboard detective. You're a web sleuth. You're nothing more than that. There's zero evidence, zero indication. You're not a body language expert. You're nothing to do with anything like that. You just look at them and you think, that's suspicious. You're probably not even doing that. You've just got a narrative that you want to twist and then push. So you're just saying those things to support it to your audience because that is what they're looking for on here. If you do anything other than that, they'll go somewhere else and you know it. You've got zero evidence, zero indication. There is nothing, absolutely nothing to suggest that the parents and step-parents have done anything to this boy. Nothing. You've got no indication. There is nothing there to suggest anything. You're making up BS on the spot, and you're twisting words, and you're reading into things purposely, knowing what you're doing, reading into things and making it mean something that it's not, all to push this narrative that maybe the parents have got something to do with this. Zero evidence. Zero indication. There is nothing to suggest that, but you are trying your hardest to push that narrative in good faith. BS. BS, my guy. Absolute BS. I want to say the actual word. I actually, have lowered myself because I really want to say certain words. And you know what? While I'm not recording, I'm going to call you certain names. I just want to put that out there. I am thinking them right now. And after I've finished recording this video, I am going to be saying them. But I'm not going to say them online. You've got zero evidence of anything. The FBI, the TBI, local law enforcement, they're saying they've got no evidence to suggest either way what's happened. That means you've got nothing too. That means you've got absolute zero, right? There's no evidence, no indication, no nothing to support any BS that you're spouting and spewing. Nothing to support this narrative that you are trying to push. You people like you make things so much difficult. You make things so much difficult, it's unbelievable. And people, you're dangerous. And I'm going to tell you why you're dangerous, because people like you have listeners and watchers. People actually listen and take in the words that you're spewing. People are listening to you spin this narrative with no indication and no evidence to support it. It's just because in good faith you think that's what's happened. Right? You think that's what's happened, and people are listening to you and watching you and taking that on board and believing you. That's why you're dangerous, because you have influence over the minds and hearts of others, and they are influenced by your BS. It's all wrong. You've got nothing. No sources, no evidence, and no indication to suggest anything. So you just need to stop what you're doing. I'm not even going to watch further on. We're 12 minutes into that video. I'm not going to watch any more of it. This is stupid. Anybody that watches him and actually believes him and takes in the BS that he spouts is also stupid. There are creators on this website, on YouTube, right, that think that but will never say it. They'll think it, but they won't say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it within the confines of YouTube rules and regulations. That's why I'm not swearing or calling you names when I really want to. Because this is BS. Nearly did it there. You're BS. You are dangerous because you have influence over the minds and hearts of others with your BS words. You need to stop what you're doing, guy. You need to stop. My friends out there, if you agree with what I've said, tell me in the comments below. Tell me what you think about what I've said. Tell me what you think if you know about JLR, Investigates. If you know about his channel, if you know about him, tell me what you think about him in the comments below. I want to know your opinions, whatever they are. I want to know them if you're comfortable with giving them. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting subscribe. And I will see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.